This just revealed a lot about the Vancouver Canucks as Rick Tocchet makes major changes to the lineup going into the game versus the San Jose Sharks. We have prospects that are shining for this team. We get an update on Quinn Hughes and Carson Soucy speaks out. We have so much to cover in this episode, so you're not going to want to miss it. Before we get into that, if you're part of the 73% that's not subscribed yet and you want to stay up to date on everything to do around the team, make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button and we'll keep up to date on everything to do with the Canucks daily. But with that, we got to hop straight into the first topic today, where we do get an update on Captain Quinn Hughes. Now, looking at this, Jeff Patterson did go in and say Quinn Hughes is not traveling to San Jose with the Canucks, so he will miss the third straight game tomorrow. Did not skate at all today after skating on his own before the group yesterday. This continues into Rick Tocchet giving an update on his availability for the Four Nations. It depends on the next 48 hours. We'll sit down with Quinn and talk to him. Like every other player, you're concerned about safety and health. Now, the biggest thing with this is we've seen Rick come out and say, hey, Quinn wants to play. If he had to make the decision himself, he would be in this lineup. We know the biggest thing with Quinn Hughes is he is pretty much the running for the Norris Trophy. We know Quinn has put this team on his back. The Canucks winning against the Colorado Avalanche last night without Quinn Hughes was actually really nice to see. Not that Quinn wasn't in the lineup, but to see the Canucks finally muster a win and a shutout without their franchise player in the lineup. Now, things do change up on this Canucks lineup. Speaking of that, as we do see, they made some changes. The top line now looks like DeBrusk, Elias Pettersson and Garland, O'Connor, Chytil, and Boeser. The bottom six kind of changes a little bit. We see Joshua, Suter, Sherwood, Höglander, Blueger, and Amon. Now, looking at this, the biggest thing is with this Canucks roster, we're going to see Rick Tocchet make some major changes going through the rest of the season or for the next stretch until he finds what works perfect. This is filled with some new faces, especially a guy like Chytil coming into this lineup and almost changing the outlook on this team. I mean, looking at Chytil, so far since he joined the Vancouver Canucks, he has been such a bright spot on this team. 2 games played, 1 goal being the game-tying goal before they lost to Detroit in OT. We've seen him put up assists, but he is at a point per game since joining the Canucks. The biggest thing I've noticed with Chytil, and I know a lot of people have noticed as well, is how good he's been at getting into the zone and his zone entries. One surprising thing with him that since he joined the team, it seems like a huge step in his game was his faceoffs. You can see the top 2 games versus Detroit and Colorado. We see Chytil have 75% on the faceoff dot, 9 wins, 3 losses. Going into the game against Colorado, where he put up 8 wins and 3 losses for 72.7%. You can see the last 3 games with the New York Rangers as well. Chytil is a guy that's usually around the 40-ish% mark, but since joining this Canucks team, we've seen him take a really big step when it does come to that on the faceoff dot. And I think that's why we're seeing him stick on the second line. When we first got Chytil, I did think that maybe he was going to be a trade piece to go out and acquire a new, more established center. But the more Chytil's playing in the system, the more I'm watching him play, getting the puck through the neutral zone, clean entries. I kind of want to keep him on this roster for quite some time. I know a lot of people are feeling that as well. But seeing his new line mates, seeing Chytil already performing with this Canucks team, I'm really excited to see Drew O'Connor, Chytil, and Boeser work together. It kind of helps on top as well as we see DeBrusk, Petey, and Garland get back together and see if this kind of sparks Pettersson into the next stage of him getting back to what he used to be. But it doesn't stop there, as we do see from Jeff Patterson. Once again, Chytil's a fixture on the Canucks PP1 today at practice. After shuffling in and out last game, has taken Garland's spot today. Now, this is another thing. We're seeing Chytil really gain trust from Rick Tocchet after his first 2 games. We're seeing him join this power play unit, where we're going to see how he works on the top unit. Right now, DeBrusk, Chytil, Boeser, Hronek, and Petey. Of course, once we get Hughes back, he's going to slide right back in on the power play. But right now, we do have Hronek on the second unit, Joshua, Suter, Sherwood, Myers, and Garland. So Garland does go down to the second unit. I kind of like the second unit as they're going to be very good at hemming other teams into their zone. And I think we're going to see this top-end talent on this first power play really make a change for the Canucks team. I mean, Chytil is incredible for bringing the puck in the zone. You add a goal scorer in DeBrusk and Boeser next to him. Petey is an incredible passer and finisher once he gets his game going. And then Hughes on this, I could see this firing on all cylinders once they do get back into the groove of having the Canucks in the win column, where we did see that happen last game versus Colorado, which was an awesome one where we've seen Demko stand on his head, but it doesn't stop there. We have seen another player, and that is D-Petey, really shine for the Vancouver Canucks. You could see in the intro video on that diving poke save. When we look at it, he does stay in the lineup. We can see Mancini and Juleson are the extras, but right now it seems like D-Petey and Soucy are going to stay together on this third pairing. Once we do see Hughes get back, it's going to get quite interesting on what they do with D-Petey, because I'm in the boat of keeping him on this team as long as we can. We've seen him be rough with other people. We've seen him be a cycle buster, as Tocchet said. We've seen him diving poke checks. This kid looks established in the NHL already, and he's only 20 years old. In 4 games, 1 assist, 1 point. He has 2 penalty minutes. But the biggest thing is when you're looking at D-Petey over this, if you look at the bottom, 82 game average for him would be 21 points, which is not bad for a guy that's more of a shutdown big defenseman on this team. We can see that the averages would be 189 hits, 41 blocks, which you do want to see more of. But he does have 9 hits over 4 games with this Canucks team since joining them. I'm in the boat of keeping all 3 Petterssons. I know some people only want to keep 2 Pettersson, but I think D-Petey has established himself on this Canucks blue line. We're going to see him and Soucy back together once again on the game versus the Sharks. Mancini is quite interesting. We did a video on him yesterday, and I do expect him to jump in this lineup if Soucy does get traded. But it does seem like, and I'm sure a lot of people are happy, Noah Juleson will not be in the lineup going against the San Jose Sharks, and maybe we won't see him for quite some time on this Canucks team. But talking about the defense, we do get a quote from Carson Soucy when they asked him about being out of the lineup, being a healthy scratch for the game, and he responded with, "In the league, there are always going to be guys pushing to play. It's the best league in the world. You got to be ready to fight for your spot in the lineup. You got to elevate your play, and that's something I've got to do." Now, looking at this, once again, if we do look at the lineups, Soucy and Petey do look great on the line together. Once we do get a healthy Canucks line where we see Hughes and Hronek or Hughes and Myers, we can see Marcus Pettersson with Hronek, D-Petey with Soucy. I'm quite excited to see what this looks like. We haven't got a fully healthy Canucks team since we've made these trades to get more players on the lineup. Chytil being one, O'Connor, who looks great on this lineup, being fast and scoring a goal on an empty netter, of course. But these new acquirees on the Canucks team have looked awesome. But what's your guys' thoughts on just everything we talked about? What's your thoughts on Hughes, the 4 Nations? Do you think he's going to play? Because I think he's 100% going to play, especially to play with his brother. But looking at this as well, what's your thoughts on Chytil getting promoted to the top power play? What's your thoughts on the new lines going into the game? Is there anything you would change personally? Or is there anything you would want to see maybe tried at some point before the playoffs start? Because I do think the Canucks are really going to make that push for the playoffs. And there's a chance that someone within this lineup may be traded as well. Let me know down in the comments while you're down there. Leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode, so keep your eye out for that. But I've been your host, Mark Pye, and take care.